Well, this is my first pitch after shoulder surgery. I may have to get with my pitching coach, Dan. Now, Dylan over at Double D thinks that he can get a hit off of me with that little bat of his. I think I'm going to have to challenge him.
Shit! Fucker.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Drew. I've got 3 things I'm going to do today. I've got 4 pickups I'm going to show you. I have a big announcement at the end. And at the very end, I've got a bonus clip of Mr. Watt that was taken outside of the radio station when I did that interview a few months ago. So the first card I want to show you is this guy, Jackie Brandt. And Jackie was a Omaha native. He was an All-Star in 1961. He won the Gold Glove in 1959. And in that year that he won the Gold Glove in 59, the other 2 outfielders were Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. That's pretty good company. He played for the Cardinals, the Giants, the Orioles, the Phillies, and the Astros. Bill Spaceman Lee considered him a little flaky. Considering that came from Bill Lee, that's saying something. In spring training one time, he did a backflip to avoid a tag. I thought that was a great story. He did serve in the Korean War in 1957. And one quote that I have here for you is, "This year I'm going to play a little harder with nonchalance." He was also, in 1966, Sandy Koufax's final strikeout in the regular season. And here's the back of that card. And you'll notice in the cartoon it says that he never batted below 300 in the minors. It's a pretty good achievement. That's Jackie Brandt. All right. Next up, we've got Vada Pinson. And Vada Pinson was a 2-time All-Star. 4 if you count that, back in the day they did 2 All-Star, had 2 All-Star games in one year. So 1961 Gold Glove. He's in the Reds Hall of Fame. He's got a 286 batting average, 305 stolen bases, 256 home runs, and 2,757 hits. Now, if you watch my channel enough, I think that Mr. Pinson ought to get more consideration for the Hall of Fame. He currently ranks 10th in players that are not in the Hall of Fame that have the most hits. And so I'm going to run through the list really quick with you. Number 1 is Pete Rose. Number 2, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro, Miguel Cabrera, Barry Bonds, Omar Vizquel, Johnny Damon, and Vada Pinson. So when you take out individuals like Pete Rose because of the gambling and being banned and all that, and you take out Pujols and Miggy Cabrera, who are destined for the Hall of Fame, you're left with A-Rod, Palmeiro, Barry Bonds, and those 3 guys, well, we know why they're not in the Hall of Fame. And then you have Omar Vizquel, who has had some controversy in recent years with domestic assault and sexual harassment. That really just leaves 2 individuals not in the Hall of Fame that have this many hits, and that's Johnny Damon and Vada Pinson. And Johnny Damon just has 32 hits more than Vada Pinson. And I will note that Carlos Beltran, who's gotten some mention for the Hall of Fame, is behind Vada Pinson in hits. So that's pretty good company to be in for not being in the Hall of Fame and having a ton of hits. So here's the back of that card. All right. Next up, we've got Hall of Famer Phil Niekro, 1968 Topps card here. An Ohio native. His boyhood friend was Johnny Havlicek of Boston Celtics fame. A couple of quotes I have for you here. One is from Pete Rose. "I worked for 3 weeks to get my swing down pat, and Phil messes it up in one night. Trying to hit that thing is a miserable way to make a living." And the other one is from Bob Uecker. He said, quote, "Niekro struck out a batter once. I never touched the ball. It hit me in the shin guard, bounced out to Cleve Boyer at third base, and he threw out the runner at first. Talk about a weird assist. 2.53 on the strikeout." Oh, that was great. So again, Hall of Fame, 1997, 318 wins, 5-time All-Star, 5 Gold Gloves, winner of or recipient, I probably should say, of the Roberto Clemente Award. He did throw a no-hitter on August 5th, 1973, And he's in the Braves Hall of Fame, where his number 35 is retired. Here's the back of that 68 card. All right, one last card I want to show you here, and that is this card. And so that's the Eddie Watt rookie card. I picked that up. I'm trying to do his run. I suppose I should say it's the Ed Barnowski rookie card as well. And here is the back of that card. There you go. And of course, Mr. Watt was on 4 Baltimore Orioles World Series teams, and of course 2 of those they won. So we'll put him over here. All right, now for that announcement. Mr. Watt has agreed to do a live question and answer session with the card community. I wanted to have a couple people host a live with me. A little over a year ago, after interviewing Mr. Watt for the first time, John Mangini mentioned on his channel that Mr. Watt had lost some of his sports-related items in a flood, and I really appreciated that. John encouraged people to send extra cards when requesting TTMs or through the mail autograph requests, and I know that a lot of people did do that, so it's much appreciated. As I said, he lost a lot of memorabilia, just personal items, so on and so forth. Keeping John's thoughtful suggestion in mind, I knew I wanted to ask him if he would join me for the live. And additionally, I've asked my frat housemate from the National, Dan from Dan's Vintage Baseball PC, to help host. Dan is an encyclopedia of baseball history, and so I thought he'd be a great addition. Now, the live will be February 11th, which is a Tuesday, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, and, well, I guess 6 o'clock Mountain as well. Also, John Mangini has offered to have the live on his channel, and I accepted. I really appreciate that, John, very much, and I'll put the link below. I'm not entirely sure how long the live will be. I know that Mr. Watt is traveling right now, but I hope you'll join us and jump on and ask Mr. Watt a question. Depending on how much time we have, we might have to move kind of quickly. Initially, my idea was people would jump on screen, ask their question, and then jump back off. And, well, I guess we'll see how it goes. You know, Mr. Watt tells some fantastic stories, and sometimes those stories can get really in-depth, which is very, very enjoyable. So I want to thank John and Dan for agreeing to sit in with me as we chat with Mr. Watt. Again, that live will be February 11th, which is a Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. All right, stay tuned here. I got a short clip from Mr. Watt outside the radio station. He asked a couple of questions. One was for Justin at 3 Good Nerds, and one was for Robert over the Commenting Collector. The audio's not the best. I apologize for that. It was because the TVs were going and the radio station was live, so bear with us, but I hope you can hear it. Okay, here's Mr. Watt. All right, so we just got done with our interview here at 93.7 The Ticket, and there was a couple of other questions that we had. So Eddie, Justin, 3 Good Nerds, he wanted to know, you came into the league in 1966. It was a turbulent time in American history. Civil rights were at the forefront. We had the Vietnam War going on. Did any of these events take a toll on you or the guys on the team?
No, I don't believe so. In '68, Martin Luther King got shot. As we were started north, we were supposed to go to Birmingham for 3 or 4 days and then on in. No, we were supposed to just go to Atlanta. Well, as we were going to land in Atlanta, Martin Luther King's body was coming in at the same time, and they were very nice and let them circle a little bit. The Orioles come down and landed, and of course at that time Los Angeles was on fire, and Detroit was burning, and Baltimore was burning, and DC. We had a curfew. We couldn't go out at all in Atlanta either, and it didn't affect anything so much except it made everybody ill at ease. I mean, driving around Baltimore, so many people were driving around with paint and stuff on the side of the car, soul brother, soul sister, as if they were going to have another civil war, which was averted a little bit. But being from Iowa, first time I went down south to see bona fide segregation was an amazing experience to me. It was something I had never envisioned, and everybody laughs when I say so, but I had never been to a place where whites go here, blacks go here, and you don't mix or anything else. And so the civil differences didn't surprise me. They didn't really affect us, but it did make everybody think.
Another question was Robert, commenting collector. He was kind of wondering what kind of work you did in the off season.
I did everything humanly possible. Coming up when I was in the minor leagues, I made absolutely no. I made $400 a month, so I made like $1,500 for the year, and was going to school, which cost a little money, and was married and had kids. In college, I pumped gas in the service station 6 nights a week, one night all night. And I did that the day I got to school, and I did it the day I left to go to spring training. Otherwise, after a little, when I got a little older, I taught school for a couple years. I played winter ball 6 years in Venezuela, one in Puerto Rico, coaching, managing. I went on the Orioles went on a tour in Japan, played the Japanese All-Stars, which took up almost 1 year. One year I spent a month in Vietnam on a USO tour. I did glorious things such as worked in a popcorn plant at home, weighing trucks in and out, unloading popcorn. I helped work construction 1 year, build a sewer plant at home. I was a surveyor's helper for 2 years. I was what else was I? I did bridge construction 1 year.
Bridge construction.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was back.
You can't don't hurt your shoulder doing that. I don't think they'd let guys do that now, would they?
I worked every year in the winter doing something. I retired in '63, January of '63, and I worked every year from the time I was old enough to walk until 1963, which was 21 years ago. And I was going to work then, and my wife looked at me and she said, "You know, you've done enough." In a year, I start to make my pension, my big league pension, and I took Social Security, and then I took minor league pensions, and I didn't need to work anymore. And I don't, and I didn't, and right now, I don't. I absolutely almost refuse to work. First, my body fell apart, and my mind is still at least semi-coherent, and I'm just going to enjoy it. So.
Good.
Oh, keep growing your collection card farmers.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.